we're out the door. No adventures to explore. From the mountains to the sea, together wild and running free. We travel to enjoy the ride. Flora, fauna by our side. Diverse cultures, ways of life. A world of wonder shining bright. We travel to enjoy beautiful landscapes.
Welcome to Shepherd's Soulful Sojourns,
where sunset smiles and scenery are what we like to do.
Today, we're going to be comparing two of our favorite locations,
The Maldives
and Bora Bora. And more specifically, we're going to be ranking 6 separate categories to allow you to determine which one you should visit. The very first category is getting there.
Then we're going to talk about hotel accommodations and the cost of those accommodations.
And then we're going to go into tours and activities.
And we're going to talk about the cultural experience of each island.
We're also going to be ranking the food associated with each of those cultural experiences. And finally,
we're going to talk about what it's like when you arrive from the airport to arriving at your resort.
All right, let's get right into it. The very first category is getting there. Bora Bora is located in the South Pacific Ocean, about 143 miles northwest of Tahiti in French Polynesia. It is part of the Society Islands archipelago and is known for its turquoise lagoon, overwater bungalows, and volcanic peaks. It is roughly halfway between Australia and South America. The airline flight from the east coast of the United States to Los Angeles is about 5.5 hours. The flight from Los Angeles to Tahiti is about another 8.5 hours. And then finally, from Tahiti to Bora Bora is a 45-minute domestic flight.
The Maldives are located 750 kilometers or 470 miles southwest of India and Sri Lanka in the Indian Ocean. There are over 1,200 islands located in 26 atolls that form the Maldives. Approximately 200 of those islands are inhabited, and 100 of those inhabited islands have resorts. It's one resort per island, generally, with the exception of the capital of Malé, which has over 40 hotels that you can stay at. Getting to the Maldives involves 3 planes, but depending on where your resort is, the last plane might be a seaplane. It was a 12.5-hour flight from the east coast of the U.S. to Dubai. From Dubai to Malé, the capital of the Maldives, it was a 3.5-hour flight. And then our final seaplane ride was 45 minutes.
So as far as on ease of getting there, who wins, Bora Bora or the Maldives?
Well, both traveling from the East Coast and the West Coast, Bora Bora is the shorter trip, hands down. So we will give a point to Bora Bora for being more convenient than the Maldives to get to from the U.S.
The next thing, let's talk about the number of visitors that each location receives every year. So Bora Bora receives about 200,000 visitors per year. And on the island of Bora Bora, there are 6 different hotel chains with a total of 8 resorts. What about the Maldives?
Well, the Maldives gets quite a bit more visitors. They get about 2 million visitors a year. And there are over 100 different resorts located on 100 different islands of the 200 habitable islands in the Maldives. All total, there are 1,200 islands there, but only 200 have people living on them.
Okay, Monique. So as far as the resort selection, who gets the nod there? Bora Bora or the Maldives?
Well, the Maldives by far have a greater selection with more places to go. So I think choice wins here. So we're tied.
Okay, we're tied.
1-1.
Okay. Okay, let's talk real quickly about the tours and excursions in Bora Bora. It's truly going to be a water lover's paradise. You're going to be able to experience things like scuba diving, snorkeling, snuba diving, flyboarding, swimming with the sharks and manta rays, different types of fishing trips, sunset cruises, themed dinners on the beach, helicopter tours, Polynesian shows, and finally, 4x4s.
The water activities in the Maldives are very similar to what Terrence just shared about Bora Bora. In addition, you can visit underwater restaurants, which is a plus.
So you just had to get that in there, huh?
It needed to be said.
Is it really that important?
An underwater restaurant? Have you been anywhere else and been to an underwater restaurant?
Okay, well, thanks for sharing. Appreciate that. All right, so now that we've reviewed all of the tours that you can take in Bora Bora and in Maldives, where does that rank them? What's the score?
Well, Bora Bora has the mountain, the volcano. So those activities you can't do in the Maldives. So that puts it ahead. But the Maldives has the underwater restaurants, which you can't do in Bora Bora. Or can you?
Um, yeah, you know you can't. So okay, so that leaves a tie score, 2-2. All right, let's talk real quickly about the Polynesian culture. Polynesian culture is deeply rooted in oral traditions, navigation, family, and respect for nature and the ocean. It values communal living, ancestral heritage, and spiritual connections through dance like hula, music, and tattooing. Traditionally, knowledge, such as wayfaring, using stars and ocean currents, is passed down through generations. Hospitality, generosity, and a strong sense of identity are central to everyday life across Polynesian islands.
The culture of the Maldives is influenced heavily by its proximity to India and Sri Lanka. Also, as a Muslim country, that affects the singing and dancing. Music is an integral part of the culture and is heavily influenced by Bollywood films and music. You're able to see traditional costumes and dancing, cotton garments, bright colors.
Okay, so we've talked a little bit about the culture of the Maldives and a little bit about the culture of Bora Bora. So, based off of everything we've talked about, who gets the win?
I think it's a tie.
Do you?
Yes, both islands share their culture with tourists and make you feel like you are a part of them.
Okay, all right, I'll give you that. So, Bora Bora gets a point, and the Maldives get a point. All right, we're down to our last two categories. Let's talk about the food. The food in Bora Bora blends French culinary influence with the traditional Polynesian flavors, emphasizing fresh seafood, tropical fruits, and root vegetables like taro and breadfruit. Popular dishes include poison cru, which is a raw tuna marinated in lime juice and coconut milk, grilled mahi mahi, and suckling pig, cooked in an underground oven. Coconut vanilla and tamarind are common flavorings. Meals are often simple, fresh, and deeply connected to the island's land and sea. What about the Maldives?
Well, the food that the tourists are fed is imported. Vegetables don't really grow well on the island, so they eat fish and rice. The food is delicious. It's influenced by its Indian Asian culture, and the cooks are extraordinary.
So, what are you saying? Who gets the point? I gotta be honest. So, when we visited the underground restaurant, it was just raw fish. Didn't really enjoy it. I enjoyed the view more than anything, but I gotta be honest. I wasn't really all that into the food. And I think that I just enjoyed the food a little bit more. It was more of what I was used to here in America, and also the French infusion was just a little bit more palatable to me. It's just my opinion. Okay, who gets the point? Obviously, I think the food was slightly better in Bora Bora. There seemed to be more of a selection in the Maldives, but to me, the food was better. What are your thoughts?
If you insist.
Okay, Bora Bora gets the point. All right, we're down to the final category, arrival and check-in. What are your thoughts about that?
Arriving in Bora Bora, you are greeted at the airport by a Polynesian band, and it's very exciting. But let's cut to the Maldives. I think they have this category hands down, no competition. When you arrive in Malay, you are taken to the waiting room of the resort that you're going to be going to, which has food and drinks, all you can eat snacks. And then, of course, you get your seaplane ride or you get escorted to your boat. And then on each island that you arrive on, they have a band and a butler. They play a welcome song for you, and then you're personally escorted to your room. The Maldives has given a cold drink and a cool compress a whole new level of extraordinary service to make you feel right at home when you get there. They got the point on this.
Yeah, I don't think there's any disputing this. I know when I arrived, it just made me feel extraordinary. The whole seaplane ride, and then at the second resort, they sent the boat, the private boat for us. It was just the two of us on the boat, and we pulled up into the second resort. You're absolutely right on this. I have no issues whatsoever giving this to the Maldives. Okay, so let's just review where we are in this whole scoring thing. The very first score was getting there, where we believe that Bora Bora won, simply because it's an easier travel from the United States, especially from the West Coast. It's an eight and a half hour trip from the West Coast. All right, whereas the Maldives, it's a longer trip. Either way.
Definitely. Next up were hotel accommodations and selection. Here, we believe the Maldives won. It just had a much wider selection, more than 10 times as many places to stay as in Bora Bora. Even though, regardless of which island you go to, the accommodations are immaculate. I mean, overwater bungalow.
All right. So next was the activities and tours. And you're going to get about the same type of activities and tours depending on no matter which place you go. Bora Bora is going to be a water lover's dream, and the Maldives is going to be a water lover's dream.
Next up is your cultural experience. We thought this was a tie between the two islands since Bora Bora has the influence of the Polynesian culture and the Maldives has the influence of the Indian Asian culture. You're gonna see shows and skits and music that reflect all that. So you'll definitely get a great cultural experience.
All right. And the next category was food. And both locations do some amazing things with coconut and fish. So I did prefer the food a little bit more in Bora Bora. It just tastes better. All right. And what's next?
Arrival and check-in. Hands down, the Maldives wins that experience. While in Bora Bora, you will hear a Polynesian band play your way through customs, which makes for a wonderful customs experience. In the Maldives, you get so much more at your arrival and check-in. Each seaplane drop-off or boat drop-off has a customized welcome from that resort. Plus, you get a personal butler in the Maldives. So Maldives wins on arrival and check-in experience, but both give you that nice, frothy, fruity drink to cool you, along with the damp cloth to wipe the sweat from your brow.
All right, that's definitely a nice touch, and I like that in both locations. So what we've decided is the best location to visit depends on what time of the year it is you're trying to vacation. So obviously, the Bora Bora rainy season is completely different from the Maldivian rainy season. So it just depends on what time of the year you're trying to visit this location, this vacation location. So
go wherever you want. Go both.
Do both, yeah. Thank you for joining us on Shepherd's Soulful Sojourns, where
Sunset smiles and scenery are what we like to do.
All right, be sure to join us on our next episode and we decide.
Where are we going next?
All right, where we're going next.
Thanks again for watching. Be sure to comment which location you're going to go
At the
to
back,
first,
we're out the door.
because hopefully you'll
No
be blessed
adventures
to go
to
to them
explore.
both.
From the
See you next
mountains
time.
to the sea,
forget to
together
comment,
wild
like,
and
and
running
share.
free. We travel to enjoy the ride. Flora, fauna by our side. Diverse cultures, ways of life. A world of wonder shining bright. We travel to enjoy beautiful landscapes.